The threat of strong to severe storms. We're on your side with what we can expect from this system and how much rain we could see by the end of the week.
And we're bringing you the weather extra on the type of storm system it will be that could be impacting parts of our area and parts of the south, and why we typically see this pattern pop up during the summer months.
Plus, we take you around the nation. Areas cleaning up today after being impacted by severe weather.
Live on your side. First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And thank you for staying with us for Weather Extra. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan with us. And Lauren, we're on rainbow alert because you pointed out on one of the cameras we can see a rainbow. And if you capture a photo, you got to send it in, right?
Yes, please do. I was just scouring the First Alert Weather app before we started Weather Extra because I'm like, come on, I know I saw a rainbow in Jemison, so there's got to be some more around the area. This is that perfect type of weather for it.
It is. It's a perfect type of weather. What's interesting today, and this is something like we would see in late August, we got rain moving in from the east. So you check the weather app, and let's say you're in Birmingham and you see it's raining to the east of town. That's not moving away. So,
no, it's not.
Yeah, so be on the lookout. That's what we're tracking, one of the next big things. And Lauren, we're going to check back in with you because I know we're going to be talking a lot about this setup. Right now, though, we want to show you the next big thing. We're tracking showers, tracking storms. We do have a severe risk coming up this weekend, Friday into Saturday. That's why we have First Alert Weather Days. Now, the main concern there is going to be some damaging straight line winds, large hail. It's not a tornadic kind of setup, but more that severe weather mode we see often during the summer months. And then storms are in the forecast for next week. So we're talking about several days with storm chances. So sooner or later, if some of this stormy weather starts slowing down, well, we could end up with some flooding issues. So we got to watch out for that. So here's Friday, and now the Storm Prediction Center, they've got a level 2 out of 5 slight risk for severe weather. Here's the thing. Friday does not look like a washout. There will be plenty of breaks during the day, and I know this, Megan was talking about this earlier today. Some of the morning runs and some of the guidance look more aggressive than what we're seeing right now, but bottom line, starting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, any storm that develops will bring that risk for some gusty winds, some large hail, and with any thunderstorm, intense lightning. So make sure you have the First Alert Weather app, but we're still watching Saturday especially. Looks like an increased risk there. We could have some storms, but AccuTrack at the moment, we got rain moving in again east to west across the area. There's Tuscaloosa getting some of that wet weather. You can see the rain moved away from Birmingham, but there are some pockets of showers around Sycamore and over towards Talladega, Munford, Oxford, and back in towards Cherokee County. And looks like some rain also around Alexander City there, pushing in towards Coosa County. But let's go in for a closer view. Out of all this, one thing I want to point out, notice the lightning count, 1 lightning strike. So for most of us at the moment, we don't have a lot of lightning. It's just some tropical downpours pretty much, but some rain has passed across Monroe Estates and Inglewood. And I noticed Caroline Mitchell, our traffic tracker, earlier, there was an accident on one of the interstates there. It looked like earlier this evening, and you could tell it had just rained out there. So just take it slow. Road's a little slippery, some of this rain moving through. There's a Black Warrior River, the Toll Bridge Road, basically the Warrior Parkway there, some of that rain. And then you go further north in Holt and points north, we're getting some rain. Here's the showers, very light stuff south of Talladega, but it's moving in across Highway 21, Highway 77. They're pushing in towards Highway 231 in Childersburg, getting some rain. Some of that may end up in southern Shelby County. But this is the next 60 minutes, and you can see over the next hour that wet weather just gradually working to the west. But the thing is, tonight, a lot of this is going to fall apart as soon as that sun sets. We're going to see a lot of this go away, and tomorrow looks like a mostly dry day. So the rain chances kind of picked up today. They drop off tomorrow, but then those chances will start to go up again as we move into Friday. So tomorrow, good day to wash the car, do a little yard work if you have some plans, because again, we'll catch that break and the wet weather, very isolated coverage coming up for our Thursday. But forecast rainfall totals between now and, well, basically the next 7 days. Now, this is an average. There's going to be some areas that may pick up a lot more rainfall, but even when we're seeing numbers like this over a 7-day average showing 2.5 to 3 inches of rain, I can promise you there will be some areas in there with over 4 inches of rain in the mix because of these thunderstorms, and especially if we have some slow movers, we're going to have to watch out for that risk of localized flooding going into next week. But meteorologist Matt Daniel, he joins us now with the Weather Extra on this storm system and the type of storms that we're going to be dealing with this weekend. And this time of year, we deal with what's called mesoscale convective systems, or MCS for short. You'll hear us talk about that a lot. And Matt's here to tell us how they form.
Well, as you know, we have a first alert weather day declared for Friday and going into Saturday. This is the outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, and areas highlighted in yellow have a chance to see severe storms. But notice it's not just a small area. It goes all the way from Texas, Oklahoma, into Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, and even into the Carolinas. Why is that? They're expecting a cluster of storms to move right along this boundary. And if you look at their discussion on the Storm Predictions website, it says another active day characterized by an ongoing MCS. You may ask yourself, what is an MCS? Well, I've got the answer for you. It's a very scientific terminology that you're not going to hear us on TV, because I don't expect everybody to know what an MCS is, and I'm certainly not going to say mesoscale convective system. But what does that mean? Well, mesoscale, think of it as a scale on like a couple of states when it comes to territory or an area. Convective, think of it as thunderstorms. And when we say system, think of it as a group or a line of storms, so to speak. So there you go. It's like a collection of thunderstorms that act as a system. It could be a solid line of storms, could be a broken line of storms, or it could be a cluster of thunderstorms as well. And this is very common to see in the late spring and summer months. So let's show you how an MCS forms. Well, we have the summer heat when it's late spring, and in the summer you got a lot of fuel, a lot of heat energy, and that's the energy needed to mainly grow those thunderstorms and intensify them. Meanwhile, we also have a storm track. We've got an area of low pressure developing, and it's going to be moving along that particular track. And it can't go south because there's an area of high pressure. It acts like a force field. So it means these storms, they have to move around that area of high pressure. Now, usually for us, this setup is very common in May and early June. As we get to July and August, this setup usually shifts farther north and usually becomes a bigger deal for parts of the Great Lakes and going into the Northeast. But you get those storms developing, and they actually intensify as it encounters all that heat energy. And eventually, when the dynamics start to fade away, the storms begin to weaken. But these storms that we are dealing with this weekend and what we've seen over previous weekends, it's very similar setup, and sometimes they can produce some pretty intense lightning, some damaging wind gusts, and large hail. And in very small instances, sometimes they can produce a brief tornado. But when you see these kind of setups, it's usually saying wind damage. And some are weaker than others, some can be even stronger. So this is what we're going to be tracking as we go into the next several days.
WBRC First Alert Weather app as we prepare to see active weather over the next few days, if not all the way into next week. You'll be able to get the latest updates for your exact location and, of course, share your photos. Remember, Wes and I are wanting to see those rainbow photos, y'all. Well, across America, taking you across the country now to Kansas City, where a major cleanup is underway after a tornado touched down near a sports complex on Tuesday. Check out this video of the storm as it moved across a major highway. The twister caused a semi-truck to overturn on an interstate, and the tornado also brought down tree limbs and power lines. So far, there is no word on any injuries. Wow, that is crazy video. And in Kansas, heavy rainfall submerging a residential street with floodwaters on Tuesday. Check out this video of the water moving quickly through the driveway of a home into the street. You can also see a pickup truck and other vehicles being submerged. Well, in 30 seconds, we tell you what you can expect as we head into your Thursday. And believe it or not, this is not a joke. Talk about how edible sunscreen can help you during those summer days when the UV index is high. I'm telling you, we're always going to give you the extra. Stay tuned after the break.
All right, it is time to check on that radar. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, along with meteorologist Lauren Linehan, we've been tracking showers and storms moving in from east to west. And I say storms, and we're not seeing a lot of storms today. It's mostly just some tropical downpours. But right now, some of the heaviest rain that I'm finding is in Tuscaloosa County. This is moving in around Maxwell Crossing and over towards Foster's, but this is moving in the direction of Routh and Romulus. So in the eastern part of the county, if you're anywhere around that Sipsey River Valley, some heavier rain moving in. Let's go in north to around Northport Elementary School, and we got some rain that's going to be tracking in towards County High, and this is at the moment it's over Rice Mine Road, so some rain around Lake Nickel there, south Lake Tuscaloosa, and you go along Highway 69 up towards Wiley and Wyndham Springs, some showers, and basically this is running right along Highway 69, Oatman into Jasper, but it's moving again away from Jasper and moving in the direction over towards Carbon Hill. Fayette, if this holds together, Fayette, if it holds together, we'll have some showers, but also watching south of Talladega. But at the moment, things pretty quiet around Birmingham and Hoover as we go to meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Lauren, we're going to be still seeing some of these showers at least through the early evening, but it looks as though later tonight this is all going to settle down rather quickly.
Yeah, exactly, Wes. So as we get into tonight, we really will be seeing that shower activity really tapering off. But one thing the showers have been helping us to do, especially if they come through during the heat of the afternoon, is helping us to cool off. And we are getting closer and closer to that first official day of summer when we have the summer solstice, and that is just a couple of weeks away. So of course, in the summertime, you almost hope for a little shower to come through in the afternoon to cool you off, because we want to show you some of the latest data we've been getting in from our friends at Climate Central, and just showing how over the past 50 plus years, the average temperature in the summer has increased. So you see this general trend line, and when we're talking average temperature, we're not talking average high temperature, average low temperature. We're literally averaging the low and the high. So you can see back in the 1970s, it was about in the upper 70s, that average per day. But as we've gone forward in time here and gotten to 2024, you can see that trend, that now that average temperature during the summer, when you're factoring in the low and the high, is actually somewhere around 80 degrees. So it's actually changed 3.2 degrees over the past 50 plus years. And you can see just when we look at the summer in general, how many days are we seeing above normal? Well, in the past 50 plus years, we have seen a trend where on average, you get about 35 more days per summer season of hotter days. So those days that would run above average. And I'll tell you, in the studio right now with this suit on, which I finally feel for the men we work with, I'm like, I understand why you guys are so hot all the time, because these suits are a little steamy, especially when it's warmer than average. So definitely seeing that warming trend as we go forward in time. But not only should we be mindful of the changing summer heat, we should also keep in mind how UV rays could potentially impact us as well. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen tells us more about a new way to protect your skin and keep it safe.
We all know it's important to lather on sunscreen before heading outside, but some are suggesting nutrition can play a role in skin protection.
Edible sunscreens are becoming more and more popular, and typically what ingredients these edibles, whether they're gummies or pills, contain antioxidants. And the idea is that these products will actually help protect from the inside out at the cellular level.
Antioxidant-rich foods such as berries, leafy greens, and dark chocolates or dietary supplements containing vitamin E or C can help with skin health. But it's not the main way to avoid harmful UV rays. Popping a pill or gummy sounds simple, but there's no scientific evidence you'll get real UV protection relying solely on your diet or supplements.
They help supplement your topical sunscreens, but they're never going to be a replacement for them. So you also want to make sure that if you're using them, you want to use them in conjunction with or in addition to your regular sunscreen.
Dermatologist Susan Masick says nutrition helps, but sunscreen saves.
It's really important to use daily sunscreen, as it can actually decrease your risk of skin cancer by almost 40 to 50%. So if you start at a young age, if you're very consistent with it, it will actually decrease your risk of skin cancer over your lifetime.
Experts say these edible sunscreen supplements are safe for most people and don't need to be taken daily.
I typically have patients use them when they're actually knowing they're going to be out in the sun, where they're going to have known sun exposure.
Still, it's important to protect yourself in the sun, whether it's cream, gel, or spray. Dr. Masick reminds folks of the most effective way to apply sunscreen.
Before you start your day, use it as a daily application. If you know you're going to be headed out for a sunny day or spending time outdoors, you should try to put it on about 15 to 20 minutes ahead of time. Reapply every 2 to 3 hours, because after a period of time, it's just no longer as effective or as protective. You want to make sure you use plenty of sunscreen. Don't be stingy.
If you do get sunburned, Dr. Masick suggests cool compresses, ibuprofen, or aloe, and avoid heat on your skin like a hot shower. And if you start seeing significant blistering or have a high fever, you need to seek medical attention. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, don't go anywhere. We continue to talk about those First Alert weather days for your weekend and take you to the views from your eyes as we share some of your weather photos. We've had quite an impressive collection from all the haze in the atmosphere, and we'll show you what that's caused. Coming up in weather, stay with us. And welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Let's talk about our First Alert weather headlines, and we are tracking showers. We're not seeing many storms out there, but just stay alert. There might be a lightning alert for the next couple of hours, but a lot of this that we're tracking right now is going to fall apart tonight. We enjoy a nice little break tomorrow. Still could see some isolated rainfall, but really watching Friday and especially Saturday, we have First Alert weather days for an increased risk of strong to severe storms. So stay alert. The main concern is going to be the typical threats we see often during the summer, damaging straight line wind gusts. Some of those storms could not only produce some intense lightning, but some quarter-size hailstones or greater. So watch out Saturday. Make sure you have the First Alert Weather app so you get those alerts this weekend. But next week, surprise, more storms on the way. Yeah, it looks like we're going to stay into this pattern. The wet weather, quite impressive, the coverage today, and a lot of this moving in from the east direction. And someone had just asked me on Facebook, Wes, why are we seeing this wet weather moving in from the east? You know, we see it a lot with tropical systems, but most often during the warm season this time of the year when the westerly flow, it weakens, especially during the summer. You'll see this a lot during the late summer months, but when you have a weak westerly flow, and sometimes we have an easterly flow, it could be from the Bermuda High, it could be because of a tropical system, but you get these showers that move in from east to west. So you check the app, and it's backwards weather today. Tonight, if you are about to head out, and let's say, for example, if you are watching us right now from Chelsea, well, this rain is approaching you from the direction of Childersburg. It is moving across Harpersville, a few showers there, but a lot of this you can even tell from the last couple of frames here. A lot of this is struggling to make it out of far east Alabama. It's starting to fall apart. There are some heavier pockets of rain, though, right now, stretching from Tuscaloosa back along Lake Tuscaloosa. If you're watching me anywhere from Fayette back to Gordo, Reform, over towards Coker, giving you that first alert for some rain moving in around Moores Bridge as well along Highway 171. But all this wrapping in a lot of tropical moisture. It's from this system that's back off the east coast, but now the Hurricane Center, they're saying no chance of development, and actually over the next 7 days, no tropical development expected, but we're going to be seeing quite a few showers and storms. And again, tonight, a lot of this falls apart. There's 11:30 tomorrow. There's 8 o'clock in the morning roughly, and just some morning low clouds giving way to a mostly sunny sky. High temperatures, you can see those scattered storms coming back, and there you go late on Friday. And then as we go into Saturday, we're talking about these storms moving in from the northwest, and that's what we got to watch out for, that risk of severe storms for Friday into Saturday. And again, some strong wind gusts, and looks like Sunday, another good chance of rain. However, hopefully that wet weather is going to thin out some into Sunday because of the rain Saturday, but we need to watch for more scattered storms. Looks like through the middle and end of next week. Also today, I want to give a big shout out to all of our friends in Oxford. Well, to those of you in Oxford, you may have seen a familiar face. Meteorologist Megan Thomas was in town today at the Oxford Public Library as part of their Believe in Yourself Resource and Health Fair. She spoke to those in attendance and also shared her lovely book, but had a lot of fun there today, and always great visiting the communities out there, and great seeing the fine folks there in Oxford, Alabama, Lauren. And if you want to schedule a visit, just let us know.
Yeah, it'd be great to go out to Oxford or anywhere in central Alabama. And hey, the weather, if you do not like the summer heat, you may like what's in store as we look beyond the 7 days. We look at that 8 to 14 day temperature outlook. You will notice for at least the northern third of Alabama, we could be seeing below average temperatures. Now, of course, there's a price with that, right? It comes at a cost. The cost is that it looks like 8 to 14 days from now, June 10th through 14th, we could be seeing an above average precipitation chance across central Alabama. And I know May was record-breakingly wet for a lot of us, and so it looks like we could still see an unsettled pattern once we look beyond the 7 days. This is looking at next Thursday, and it still looks like we could be seeing the possibility of at least scattered showers and storms in the forecast. Even as we go into next weekend, seeing the possibility of June 14th through 15th for some more unsettled weather. Of course, we'll keep an eye on the tropics, and we'll be right back with a final check on your forecasts after the break. And let's get a look at those weather photos before we send you into your Wednesday evening. A beautiful sky over Hamilton sent in from Jake Ford.
And Denise Crow sharing this sunset
Ooh.
and the Grand Teton. Wow.
Gorgeous. Oh, we love a mountain view, Wes. And how about this one from our friend Harold? Clouds over Panama City Beach. Ooh.
Yeah, but Harold didn't call us now and said he was going to the beach.
No, he
and
didn't.
Brooke Dobbins, a live
Yeah.
look, well, a lovely look, I should say, from Gulf Shores.
Oh, yeah. And still bitter about our friend who went to Italy without us, Wes. But hey, our dear friend Ryan Carty sent in this supercell from near Bono, Texas.
I mean, it's a daily thing now. We just look for Ryan's
yeah.
storm spotter
Oh,
report.
love this one.
Yeah, with the rain too. Let's check that out.
That hawk was definitely waterlogged. I think that's how we all felt after the end of
Hey,
May.
it was a shout out to Auburn fans with that one, right?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wes, you know, we've been talking about that 10-day forecast, how it really is just looking more unsettled in the days ahead.
Yeah, it's looking unsettled, and check in each day because we always say this time of the year, today's weather can impact tomorrow's forecast, and that's why we're watching. We know Friday and Saturday an increased chance for some scattered storms, and some of those could be severe. Now, tomorrow looks like rain chances actually back off to only 20%, so some nice breaks tomorrow.
Yeah, and anytime you don't have storms around the afternoon, it can get a little steamy out there, Wes.
That's right. It's steamy in some areas right now, but we'll have the breakdown again for you tonight. First Alert update starting at 9.